A struggling single father opened his home to a soaked stranger one night, unaware she was the wealthy daughter of a tycoon, and that she'd soon fall in love with him. "You really shouldn't be standing out here alone," Jason said softly, though his voice carried beneath the sound of the downpour. It was past 2 a.m., and his janitor's uniform clung to him as rain fell hard. The young woman spun around, startled. Her hair was drenched and matted to her face, her eyes wide, unsure, scanning the street behind him. "I don't need your pity," she snapped, arms locked tightly around herself. Jason took a cautious step closer, not invading her space, just enough to be heard clearly beneath the flickering street lamp. "It's not pity," he replied. "It's just a place to wait out the night, dry, quiet, and without danger." She hesitated. He noticed the way her fingers trembled and how she kept glancing toward the alley, scared, but too proud to say it. "What happened?" he asked gently. "I was mugged," she muttered. "Phone's dead." "Purse is gone." He paused, considering. "Want to call someone?" She shook her head quickly. "No, I just need somewhere safe. Till morning." Jason's first instinct was to walk away. He had a 6-year-old daughter asleep at home. But there was something in the way the girl stood, shivering, proud, and terrified, that silenced logic. "I live close," he said. "It's nothing fancy. You can crash on the couch." She looked like she might protest again, then slowly nodded. "Okay." They walked in silence. Jason kept a respectful distance but stayed alert. When they arrived at his small duplex, he unlocked the door and gestured her inside. The living room was cozy but modest, children's books stacked near a shelf. A small pink backpack by the door. "Shoes off here," he said, pointing. "You can use the couch. There's a spare blanket in the closet." She didn't say anything, just wiped rain from her face with her sleeve. Jason ducked into a back room to stash his wallet and keys in a locked drawer, not out of distrust, but out of long learned habit. He returned with a blanket, clean towel, and oversized sweatshirt. "Bathroom's on the right. Water takes a minute to heat." She took the item slowly, then glanced up. "Why are you doing this?" He scratched his neck. "You needed help. And if my daughter were ever in trouble, I'd hope someone out there would do the same for her." At the word daughter, she flinched, but said nothing while she showered. Jason brewed a warm cup of water in the microwave and wrote a short note. He left both on the coffee table, then quietly disappeared into the bedroom he shared with his little girl. The girl Emma came out 20 minutes later, hair towel dried, Jason's sweatshirt falling past her hands. The apartment was still, dimly lit. On the table was a note beside the steaming mug. "If you need to call someone, house phone's on the wall. More blankets in the hall closet. Please keep the bedroom door shut. My daughter's a light sleeper." Emma stared at the note for a while, fingers resting on the cup's warmth. It wasn't much, but it felt safe. The first safety she'd known in days. She curled up on the couch and closed her eyes, letting the sound of soft rain blur into silence. He hadn't asked her name. He hadn't told her his. He hadn't made her feel like a burden. He hadn't judged. And right now, that was enough. Tomorrow could wait. Emma had never met anyone quite like Jack, genuinely kind, calm, and grounded. He gave her space to breathe. That morning, she recalled something he'd said the night before, a quiet comment about wishing someone would help his daughter if she ever needed it. "You're a good dad, Jack," she said softly over breakfast. He didn't respond with words, just a gentle smile and another bite of eggs. Later, rinsing dishes, he spoke up casually. "There's a laundry place down the street. My buddy owns it. I could ask if they need help, if you're staying in the city for a while." Emma paused. "I probably should earn something. I lost my job, my ID, even my wallet. I was in school, or I used to be. It's complicated." Jack didn't pry. He just nodded. "If you want to check it out, I'll walk you there." She studied him again. This man didn't know her past and didn't seem to care. He helped because it was simply who he was, and that somehow made her feel safer than any money ever had. The bell above the laundry shop jingled as she stepped inside. A wave of heat and detergent hit her, mixed with rust, sweat, and stale fabric softener. Machines thudded in rhythm. A woman behind the counter barely looked up. "You Jack's friend?" she asked. Emma nodded. The woman tossed her an apron. Clock's running. Get to it. And that was it. Her new job. By midday, Emma's back ached and her fingers were raw. 2 customers had already snapped at her. One accused her of ruining a sweater. Another dumped 3 wet bags on the counter and barked, 5 o'clock. She checked the time. Only 3 hours in. By late afternoon, Emma stood slumped in the alley behind the shop, apron damp, cheeks flushed. Her phone, still dead, was no help. She stared at a rusted dumpster and considered walking back to the shelter. Back to nowhere. That evening, she slipped through Jack's door in silence, dropped her bag, kicked off her shoes, and winced at the blisters. Jack glanced her way, noticed, said nothing. The next morning, a brand new pair of white sneakers sat by the door. No tag, no note, but they were clearly for her. Her exact size. Inside one shoe was a folded paper. If you're walking away, at least don't walk in pain. She stood there a long time, then quietly laced them up. When Jack came home from his shift, she was already toasting bread. You didn't leave, he said. I almost did, she admitted. But your guilt trip shoes worked, he smirked. Wasn't guilt, just a reminder. You've got choices. Later that week, after folding what felt like her 100th towel, Emma groaned. I used to think yoga was hard, she muttered. Jack looked up. You're earning something real now. You mean back pain? I mean dignity. Even if your hands get dirty, it's yours. No one can take that from you. She didn't reply, but the words stuck. That Friday, a huge hotel order came in sheets, towels, uniforms, over 100 pieces. They stayed past midnight, folding under humming lights. Jack worked quickly. Emma fumbled behind. Around 2 a.m. they loaded the truck. My fingers are frozen, Emma groaned. You'll miss them when they're gone, Jack replied dryly. Starting the engine, they made deliveries to quiet houses. At one stop, he handed her a bag. Porch with the light. House 15, she nodded. But just as she turned, the light flicked off and a huge dog came charging out. She screamed, stumbled backward, ankle twisting, scraping her hand on the curb. The truck door slammed. Jack was already sprinting. He reached her just as the dog barked wildly nearby. Back! He shouted, stepping between them. The dog hesitated, then retreated. Jack scooped her up before she could argue. I told you to wait in the truck. He snapped. I thought I could handle laundry. Inside the truck, she cradled her wrist. It's just a scrape. I don't care about the scrape, he said, voice rough. I care that you could have been hurt. What were you thinking? Emma blinked. He was angry, really angry. But beneath it was something else. Fear. No one's ever yelled at me out of fear before, she whispered. He sat back, shoulders relaxing. Well, he said quietly, you're in the wrong house now. Emma wiped her eyes and laughed, a messy, broken sound. And for the first time, it didn't feel like just a roof over her head. It felt like home. Before either of them could speak again, the front door flew open. A man in a leather jacket and baseball cap stepped inside, holding up a smartphone. His eyes locked onto Emma instantly. There she is, he muttered, snapping a picture. You've been off the grid 5 days? Your daddy's shelling out 6 figures to bring you in. Emma froze. Her heart stopped. Jack stepped forward. Get out. Now, easy, the man said, backing up. Just doing my job. Another flash. Another photo. Emma instinctively backed away, panic setting in fast. Jack grabbed her arm. Come. On out the back. They bolted through the back exit, Emma's chest heaving, legs stumbling to keep up. Jack didn't stop until they reached his truck. What about Lily? She gasped. She's at school. I'll get her. Less than an hour later, Lily was sleepily buckled into the back seat, juice box in hand. Emma watched from the passenger side, her pulse still high. But Jack didn't drive them home. He pulled into the driveway next door. Mrs. Ramirez will watch her. You trust her? With everything. The older woman was already at the door, no words needed. She took Lily inside like it was routine. Just a sleepover, Jack whispered to his daughter. You'll be fine. Once Lily was safe, Jack turned back to Emma. Let's go. They drove until the city faded behind them. For a long time, neither spoke. Emma stared out the window, guilt thick in her throat. Then she noticed his sleeve ripped and stained. "Your arm," she whispered. He glanced down. A deep bruise was forming. "He shoved me. It's nothing. Why didn't you tell me?" Jack kept his eyes on the road. "If you and Lily are—" "All right, that's all that matters." Her throat tightened. He hadn't done this for status or out of obligation. He did it because it was simply who he was. By the time they returned, the sun had already set. Jack parked down the block. Scanning for unfamiliar cars. Emma sensed something was wrong. The porch light was out. Jack stepped ahead. Cautious. "I should face this," Emma said, already climbing out. Together they walked toward the house, and then they saw its sleek black sedan, polished to a mirror shine, idling near the curb. Two men in dark suits flanked the porch. The door was wide open. Jack moved quickly, instinctively shielding her. A third man appeared from inside. Tall, regal, cold, silver hair brushed back perfectly. "Emma," he said with a voice that cut through the air. "Get in." She froze. Jack didn't. "Her father?" He asked. "I'm Winston Harrington." "So, you're the guy hunting her down?" "I'm the father trying to bring her home," Winston snapped. "You've been sheltering her." "I gave her a place to sleep when she had nowhere else." Winston's gaze swept across Jack's porch, disgusted. "This isn't her world. You think she belongs here? She made that choice." "Not me. You can't keep her." "I'm not keeping anyone," Jack said, voice firmer now. "But I'm sure as hell not giving her away like a delivery package." "You don't understand who she is." Jack met his eyes. "I don't care. I know what kind of person she is. That's enough." Emma stepped forward, her hands trembling. "Dad, stop." "She's coming home," Winston said, signaling. To his men. Emma shook her head. "This is home." "No," Winston snapped. "This is where you ran to, not where you belong." Jack turned to her. "You don't have to go." She stared at the car. Her voice cracked. "I think I do." "No one's forcing you," he said gently. "They are," she whispered. "Just not with their hands." He understood. It wasn't violence. It was pressure, power, shame. She stepped back from him like each inch was a decision. He didn't stop her. She turned toward the car. One of the guards opened the door. The curb. She paused. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. Without turning, Jack didn't respond. The door closed behind her, solid and final. He stood there, motionless as the tail lights disappeared into the night. When he finally turned to go inside, the house felt heavier than it had in weeks. Emptier. He switched off the porch light and closed the door. The following days passed like ghost silent, heavy, automatic. Jack clocked into his shifts, cleaned the same sidewalks, drove the same routes, but something in him had dimmed. Jack's eyes no longer sparkled when Lily ran into the room. His movements were mechanical, prepping her lunch, fixing her hair, walking her to the school bus. He never explained why Emma had left. He just told Lily that sometimes people leave even when they care. Lily didn't ask questions, but she stopped humming while she colored and began sleeping with the light on. By the fourth day, her cough began. Jack assumed it was a seasonal cold, but then came the fever. And then the trembling, violent, even beneath layers of blankets. By midnight she was burning up. Jack wrapped her in his arms, hands shaking as he fumbled for the truck keys. At the hospital, the overhead lights felt harsh, like reality had been turned up too bright. A nurse rushed Lily inside. Jack stayed behind to fill out forms until a door creaked open. A man stepped in, leather jacket, phone in hand. His camera was pointed right at Emma. "There she is," he whispered, snapping a picture. "You've been gone 5 days. Your daddy's offering 6 figures to find you." Jack stepped between them. "Put the phone down," he warned. "Easy." "Man, just doing my job," the man shrugged, taking another shot. Jack didn't wait. He grabbed Emma's wrist and pulled her through the emergency exit. "Run!" They bolted to his truck. "What about Lily?" Emma gasped. "She's still at school. I'll get her." An hour later, Lily was bundled in Jack's arms, half asleep, confused. He handed her a juice box and drove not home, but to the neighbors. "Mrs. Ramirez will watch her," he said. You trust her? With my life. Mrs. Ramirez opened the door before he even knocked. Come in, I'll keep the little one safe. Jack kissed Lily's forehead. Just a sleepover, sweetheart. Okay, Daddy. Then he turned to Emma. Let's go. They drove out of town in silence. Emma noticed his torn sleeve. Your arm, she whispered. Jack looked down. A bruise. Camera guy shoved me. Why didn't you say anything? If you and Lily are okay, that's all I care about. They got home at dusk. Jack parked a block away. Something felt off. The porch light was out. Stay here, he told Emma. No, she replied. If it's him, I need to face it. A sleek black car waited by the driveway. Two men in dark suits stood at the porch. The front door stood ajar. Jack stepped in front of Emma protectively. Then a third man stepped out, older, tall, silver hair, neatly slicked back. Emma, he said flatly, get in the car. Jack didn't flinch. Are you her father? I'm Winston Harrington, the man said sharply. And you're the one hiding my daughter. I gave her a place to sleep, Jack replied. This life? This dump? She's above this. She chose this, Jack said. I didn't force her. You can't keep her here? I'm not keeping anyone, but I'm not handing her over either. You don't know who she is, Winston barked. I don't care. I know who she is here, Emma stepped in. Dad, stop. You made your point, Winston growled. Now come home. This is home, she said. Double quote. This is where you ran. You don't have to go, Jack whispered. I think I do, Emma said, eyes wet. No one's dragging me. But they don't have to. She walked away slowly. Jack didn't stop her. I'm sorry, she said without turning back. He didn't answer. The door shut behind her like a gavel. Jack stood alone on the porch, then switched off the light. Days passed. He swept streets, clocked into night shifts, came home before dawn. But everything felt dimmer, hollow. At the hospital days later, a receptionist said it's $6,000 to admit her. Jack's wallet had $104. I can pay some now, the rest in a few days. Sorry, sir. Hospital policy. I've got it. A voice cut in. Emma, soaked from the rain, breathless. She handed over her card. Bill it all to me. Relation? To the patient? She glanced at Jack. I'm family. An hour later, Lily lay in a hospital bed. Treatable virus, but needed care. Jack sat beside her, head in hands. Emma entered. You didn't have to do that, he said softly. No, I'm sorry. You didn't pull me in? She said. I chose to come back, he nodded. You didn't owe me anything. But thank you, Emma stared at the ceiling. You once said people should walk without pain. That includes their hearts too. They sat in silence, machines softly beeping. Lily sleeping. Jack finally exhaled. Emma stood in her father's penthouse, glossy floor cold beneath her shoes. Winston didn't look up from his newspaper. I figured you'd come back, he said. I didn't, she replied. I came to speak. You're playing house with a janitor, he sneered. That janitor saved me. You had it all? Why walk away? I didn't throw it away. I chose something else. You gave it all up for him? I gave it up for myself. He just reminded me who I was. You love him? I do, Winston's jaw clenched. He has nothing. He gives me everything. This isn't a fairy tale, he snapped. No, but it's real. He poured a drink. I never meant to be the villain, I know. You just forgot how to be a father. He looked down. He has something I don't. A daughter who loves him for who he is. I'm going back, she said. At the door, Winston murmured. Tell him he's lucky. No, Emma smiled. I am. The knock came at sunrise. Jack wiped pancake batter from his hands and opened the door. Emma stood there, holding a small paper bag. For Lily, real blueberry muffins. I'm not here to crash again, she added. I'm here to stay if you'll have me. We're not rich, Jack said. I've had everything but a kitchen that made dino-shaped pancakes. We don't have much. You have what I never did, a home. Emma, Lily peeked from the hallway. Emma knelt. Hey, sunshine, want a muffin? Lily ran into her arms. Are you staying forever? Emma looked up at Jack. He nodded. She smiled. Forever sounds perfect. 2 months later, Jack's old truck had a food stand sign. Jack's Jams. Muffins, wraps, coffee. Emma worked the grill. Jack took orders. Lily handed out napkins, beaming. They didn't make a fortune, but they made a life. Jack caught Emma's eyes and mouthed, "Thank you." She grinned. She didn't need a palace to feel like a queen. Just them, because sometimes the richest lives are built with love, not luxury. Asterisk if this story touched your heart. Don't keep it to yourself. Sometimes the people we think have the least give the most. And sometimes love finds us where we least expect it, even in a janitor's break room. Drop a comment if you believe kindness still matters. Subscribe for more stories that prove wealth isn't measured in dollars. And share this if you know someone who needed to hear this today. Because real stories make real change. And here, every story has a second chance.